Saudi Arabia is the only country in the world where women are prohibited from driving. But is there anything else we can learn from the country? Or should we reject their culture entirely for the sake of our own well-being? Saudi Arabia is a very strange place. Sharia law is very prominent, and human rights, especially those of women, are very limited compared to Western countries. It's almost admirable in a sense that in Saudi Arabia women have less rights than men, since in countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom, they actually have more rights than men. It's almost like a bittersweet balancing of the scales. And if the same thing were to be proposed in Western civilization, I would almost be inclined to support it. My personal feelings aside, Saudi Arabia certainly has a lot of issues. They have banned so many great things that showing any support for the country makes me feel a little nauseous. Some of the things banned in Saudi Arabia include movie theatres, bacon, women's sports, bacon, female drivers, bacon, Valentine's Day, bacon, nutmeg, bacon, social mixing between men and women, bacon, music classes in public schools, bacon, every religion that isn't Islam, bacon, women travelling without a man's permission, bacon, alcoholic drinks, bacon, Christmas trees, bacon, 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 pork products other than bacon, 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 and finally, bacon. As you may have noticed from the list of banned items and practices that I just gave you, Saudi Arabia really does seem to hate bacon. I know what you must be thinking now. How could anyone hate bacon? Well, you see, my child, these people are bat-shit crazy. Reading from the list of things that I just gave you that are banned in Saudi Arabia, a rational person would more than likely struggle to approve of more than 3 of those things. I'll leave you to work out which of the 3 I'm talking about in your own time. So back to the original question at hand. Can we learn from Saudi Arabia, or should we reject their culture? Well, in a country filled with radical women beaters, bacon-hating crazes, and immense poverty, there is very little to be admired. There are certainly 1 or 2 things that we could take from the culture in Saudi Arabia and implement them into Western society, such as not allowing women to drive, as the great Milo Yiannopoulos once said. That's the one thing that Saudi Arabia gets right, and I am inclined to agree with that statement. It is the one thing they get right. You know, I'm almost impressed that an Islamic country got something so perfectly right, since they get pretty much everything else wrong, especially how they hate bacon. So we should most certainly reject the culture of Saudi Arabia, as it most definitely has no belonging in the West. I cannot help but think that there must be secret underground societies in these Islamic countries. They all gather late at night, each of them making sure that they were not followed. They then gather around in a prayer circle and get off to their socially taboo addiction, which you can see on screen now. All Muslim men wish they could be that guy. Nothing arouses them more than the thought of being that man. It is the ultimate Muslim fantasy. If you go into one of the secret underground fetish clubs in Saudi Arabia, do not go in expecting to see bondage demonstrations or people being paraded around as animals. Instead, you will be met with the sensation of fully grown men rubbing their naked bodies with raw slices of streaky bacon. I video chatted a closeted homosexual Muslim man living in Saudi Arabia once via the popular chat website Omegle. He talked to me about he was terrified to be living in Saudi Arabia, and he told me that if anyone found out about his sexuality, he could be killed. I felt so sorry for him that I dropped everything, headed to my local fancy dress store, and bought an amazing costume that I knew he would appreciate. Here's a picture of me wearing that costume. Needless to say, he loved it. Unfortunately, I never heard back from him after that day. I assume his fellow countrymen stoned him to death. Either way, I never shed a tear. Why would I? I knew exactly what I was getting into when I started talking to him. What else do you expect from a country based on Islam? You're welcome, society.